before we get to the awards, we must recognize where we are physically. We are on stolen Mohican and Lenape land. We can acknowledge that fact all we want, but land acknowledgements only benefit us here in this room. I ask that you look to where you call home and redistribute what you're able to tribes who steward your lands. 80% of the globe's biosphere is protected by 10% of the global population of Indigenous people. Not only am I asking for a redistribution of resources, but also a redistribution of power in order to halt the fast-growing fascism we see in this country. That being said, many thanks, so many thanks to ALBA and the Puffin Foundation. We would not have been able to continue our work and model what effective Indigenous leadership looks like without y'all. Thank you.
I'm going to talk a little bit about what it means, what it feels like to get this extraordinary Human Rights Award from ALBA and the Puffin Foundation. Because there's just a few of us over the last 14 years who have had the honor and the privilege of being recipients of this award. And I think it's important before we bestow it on our next recipient and our next organization that we focus a little bit on what this award is and what it means to those of us who work on human rights. And thinking about that, I was thinking about what it means to be seen, because a lot of us work in the dark. To be an organization that is actually given this honor is to be pulled into a community and associated with one of the great radical acts of the last century, the decision of thousands, tens of thousands, of international anti-fascists to volunteer themselves, their bodies, to defend a free Spain. And I think we all feel so privileged to be associated with that legacy. Your recognition gives us motivation. It encourages us, it animates us, gives us community, gives us a kind of radical optimism that, yeah, we can do this, we can go on. Somebody has seen us. It associates us with those volunteers from this long, long past, this honorable past, and also with all the visionaries and human rights defenders that come before us who can see a future despite the world we live in today.
Politicians expect young people to come to their offices to make their voices heard. They don't set up office hours in line with school schedules. They don't design spaces to include young people. And so what we do that is different is that we go to young people. So this year we're actually going to advocacy groups and working with them to register and activate their young people who are involved. You know, there are so many young people who are involved in causes around the country and around the world, but they aren't being reached by, you know, the people that are trying to get out the vote. And so we're really focused on, you know, how do we reach people where they are? How do we meet young people where they're at?
I just want to say I have so much hope listening to you, and I'm really excited about your future and the future of 18 by Vote. What an incredible organization that was chosen. Yes.
Thank you.
There's very few things that we're doing today that we would be able to do if it hadn't been for the early and consistent support of the Puffin Foundation out of New Jersey, for the work that we do and for all the other ways in which they support progressive work. So please help me welcome Neal Rosenstein of the Puffin Foundation.
"230 or so years ago, the founding white male fathers of this country did not put voting rights, universal voting rights, into the Constitution. And since that time, we've had a history of struggle to recognize what should be that right to vote. We had literacy tests in New York City into the 1960s. We just lost election day registration amendment to the state constitution here in New York a few years ago. And that's the reason why we really wanted to look at voting rights, besides this being an important election year. Issue after issue, it's been young people and youth that have led the way. It was the Gen Zers of the 30s, the average age being about 24, of the American volunteers who went to Spain to fight in Abraham Lincoln brigades. And we're honoring today 18 by vote, run by the Gen Zers today, activating the Gen Zers of today in the hope of a better tomorrow. And so proud that we're able to make this award today.
Thank you so much, Neal. I am so deeply honored to be here today to accept this award on behalf of my organization, 18 by Vote, and all of the young people who have made the commitment to fight for our democracy. Young people are angry, they're frustrated. Many of them feel that our politicians are not listening to us and to them. And many people feel that their voices do not make a difference. But after spending the past 3 years at the helm of an entirely youth-led organization that catalyzes youth civic engagement during and beyond elections, I am hopeful. I really do believe in our collective future. And so, with the timely support of the ALBA Puffin Human Rights Activism Award, what I'm so excited to say is that we're really able to scale our programming this year to reach young people across the nation with a really big emphasis on states and districts and communities where youth voters could see the impact of their vote. It's so meaningful to be recognized by the Puffin Foundation and ALBA, ALBA being an organization that is utilizing the legacy of the Abraham Lincoln Brigades to champion and support human rights activism as young people continually look forward. At 18 by Vote, as I was sharing, we know that we must learn from the past to learn how to make transformative change today, and also have that belief that change can happen. When people face hopelessness or disconnection, as is happening now and has happened over several years, and throughout history, we really have to look to each other. We have to encourage one another to envision our future the way that we want it. We must shout, we must write, we must vote, but we also really need to maintain our hope. So, thank you so much.